elections. It's going to be more difficult because we're also entering economic great difficulties, truly awful times. We've got inflation, the like of which we've not seen for 40 years.
Yes, we have, apart from all the political conflicts, we have a global economy which is out of balance. We may have little influence on how the central banks decide about the future policies, but we know that if we don't change course, we will have hundreds of millions of people falling back into poverty. We have tens of millions probably dying, possibly of hunger. I mean, it's the most consequential meeting which we ever had in the last 50 years, I would say. And the mood will be much more serious, much more concerned compared to the previous years.
Because we are at the turning point of history.
I normally try not to assume too many things when I'm delivering information or making videos, but there's probably a good chance by now, if you've been a subscriber or a viewer of mine for a while, you know who the gentleman is up on your screen right now, and if you don't, his name is Klaus Schwab. He's the WEF, or the World Economic Forum, CEO and chairman, and that was him sitting down with CNN just 3 weeks ago in Davos, Switzerland, talking about the possible perish of hundreds of millions of people either dying or going hungry unless the WEF steps in and tries to repair the economy. And I know some of you might be saying, Mass, this guy's not talking about the United States, he's talking about third world countries, places that are in turmoil right now, and probably for the first time ever in our history, we are lumped in right with everybody else. And it got me to thinking, is there any possibility that this collapse was by design and on purpose? And if so, why? We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more when we come back from the intro. But before we get way too far ahead of ourselves.
Shoot the speeder.
This is the way.
Good evening, beautiful people. Guys, what's going on? It is Sunday, June 19th, 2022. It's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all of you out there. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. To everyone else, I hope you're getting some relaxation. All right, real quick, before we get into tonight's subject matter, I got to touch on a few things. First and foremost, I uploaded that video about Lou on Friday about the dilution and the FUD and tweeting Adam Aaron about not releasing more shares and TREYS video from a year ago. And of course, the usual suspects come out of the woodwork. You know, the Jordans and the Jack Wolfs and all those people. I hope by now my viewers and especially my subscribers understand who those videos are directed towards and why. I know you guys don't need me to tell you these things, but there is a reason why I make them. And let's just, for full transparency, make sure it's not monetary reasons, right? We don't want to be putting Lou's name up there and making money off clout chasing or trying to get likes. So just for full transparency, here are the numbers from the last video. So hopefully going forward, we can put that notion about monetization and clickbait and clout to bed. And if you're really still worked up about it after seeing this, let me know where to send the 97 cents. I will donate it to the charity of your choice in your name. Also, my subscribers, I've gotten a lot of messages from you guys saying that you haven't got notifications for the live streams or for the uploads. My suggestion would be turn on the bell. I'm working on a GameStop Ryan Cohen MOASS video right now, how it's going to affect AMC. If you have on the bell, more than likely you're going to be able to see it. So make sure that's on because YouTube does not push my videos and you guys all know why.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
And last but certainly not least, a few of you have reached out and said the last couple live streams, you've made donations and either I haven't seen them or they haven't registered or come up. I have a list of everyone who has made a donation during the live stream. When the next card comes up for the intro, you will be on that list. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for everyone who has donated and kept me independent and kept this channel alive, because without you guys, there is none of this. Okay, so since the video started, you're probably wondering to yourself, why on God's green earth would Joe Biden, this administration, a first-time sitting president with only 15 months on the job, want to go ahead and intentionally or deliberately put our economic system in jeopardy or purposefully tank the stock market. On paper, it makes no sense. And your first thought will probably be, no president would ever do that. That's ridiculous. They're looking to get reelected. But is Joe Biden really looking to get reelected? Does Kamala Harris really have a shot at taking the Democratic nomination in 2024? You know, they're saying right now, because of all of these bad economic policies that Biden and this administration have put in, that 2022, we're going to see a red wave, that the Republicans will wipe the floor with the Democrats, control the House and the Senate. And what is that going to leave us with? A lame duck president who can't get anything done. So 2 years of that before we possibly could turn around the executive branch. And I want you to listen to what Neil Howe, the author of The Fourth Turning, because Klaus was right. We definitely are at a turning point in history. And Neil's going to describe it. Watch.
These are two of the big hallmarks of the crisis of the fourth turning, right? Sort of economic crisis and financial crisis, and the possibility of civil war, which, by the way, 10 years ago was not even on the radar screen. People weren't even surveying that. It wasn't a poll question. It wasn't anything, right? And now you see it's the subject of about 3 or 4 or 5 recent books, including, fictional narratives of how the, American Civil War is going to turn out. But these have been on the table, right? Sort of the possibility of economic crisis and the possibility of civil discord leading into real conflict. Finally, now we have the third, and that is geopolitical conflict and war between major powers. So they're kind of a leaderless party at this point, and they're very definitely divided between their moderates and their progressives. And then you have the Republican Party, which is in an equal state of, you might say, disarray. The party itself very divided about the Trump versus no Trump faction, right? You're right. We're leaderless in that sense, and I do expect. I think it's more clear than ever that this will be a divided Congress at the very least. Maybe an entirely Republican Congress come the end of this year.
Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
Okay, so just in case you don't know, that gentleman that was just speaking, his name is Neil Howe. He's one of the 2 authors that wrote the book back in 1997, The Fourth Turning, which was a prophetical book about the times we're living in right now. We are in the fourth turning. And in case you don't know what the fourth turning is, let me describe it. Howe and Strauss observed that American history shows a new era or turning about every 20 years. In simplest terms, the first turning is an upbeat era of strengthening institutions. The second turning is an awakening, a passionate era of spiritual upheaval when the old order comes under attack. The third turning is an unraveling, a time when individualism is strengthened and institutions are weakened. The fourth turning is a crisis, a decisive era of secular upheaval. The old order is toppled and a new one is put in place. Sound familiar? As America's most recent third turning began in the mid-1980s, it was due to expire in the first decade of the 21st century. If we accept Howe and Strauss's thesis, America has already entered its next fourth turning. The consequences are immense. We quote as follows. Now, I could spend 4 or 5 hours talking about this, and we're definitely going to revisit this subject matter in the future. We've talked about it in the past, but because of the market conditions of what's going on with everything tanking, I've kind of gotten away from it. And after the events of the past couple of weeks with the Bilderberg meeting in DC with all those heads of state and the guys from Palantir and Pfizer and Nokia and the Davos meeting in Switzerland, the things that they're talking about, this great reset idea is not a conspiracy theory. It was predicted back in 1997. Okay, so that brings us back to the original question. Why would any sane leader with time still left intentionally destroy his own economy by tanking the stock market, coming up with supply chain issues, having food shortages, inflation out of control? What would be the reason? And this is purely speculation on my part. But if you knew your time was up, as most of the people who are in government right now know, and Joe Biden, like we said, is going to be a lame duck president, The only reason I can come up with is for more control and more power and more oversight. And I know some of you are probably saying right now, no way, I will never accept that. There's no way they can do that. I don't want them controlling my money. And all I ask is, at what point would you be desperate enough to accept free money if they offer it to you to get you out of dire straits? And what would you be willing to sacrifice? Maybe a little freedom? I don't know. But it's something we're going to talk about in the future. I know it's a scary thing. I know Klaus Schwab is scary, and the World Economic Forum. I believe the Great Reset is a real thing. I just don't know if it's going to take a rebellion in this country to stop it, because I totally believe it's coming. I don't know how far out this new digital system is going to be implemented. They could have been working on it since before the pandemic. It could be here in a couple of weeks, or it could be years away. We just don't know. But I'll keep following the story. And guys, let me know down in the comments. Am I crazy? I know a lot of people say this is a conspiracy theory, the Great Reset, but I don't know. I smell something bad, and I figured I'd bring it to your attention. All right, guys, it's getting really late. We'll revisit this subject in the future. Not sure if we're going live tonight or tomorrow night. Probably tomorrow night because it's getting late. But we'll be with you guys before the market opens on Tuesday. Have a great day off tomorrow. Thank you, as always, guys, for the likes, the views, the comments. My new subscribers, my OGs. I appreciate each and every one of you. We're here to break the wheel. This is Ape Nation. I'm the Massalorian, and I'm out.